Welcome back, viewers, to Chimera Miniature's official YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, Mr. Sean.
Hey there, hi there guys, welcome back to the channel. It is I, your host, Mr. Sean, here with a brand new style of video for you that you have not yet seen on this channel. This will be the first in a series exploring myths and urban legends from around the world. I have always been fascinated by mythology, folklore, and even the urban legends and lost media of today. Just anything that we don't quite understand or there's stuff we don't know about it fascinates me. So I wanted to start doing, alongside things like lost media videos, we're going to start doing some urban legends, mythology, folklore kind of stuff too. I wanted to start with a country that not a million videos have been done around. So, Japan's out, most of the United States is out, probably Russia and China, mostly all of Asia has already been covered to death by other channels. So today, because I am 50% German, we're going to take a look at some urban legends and myths from Germany, because other than some of the stuff they did in World War II, I really know nothing about the land of my ancestors. So after a few cursory internet searches, I am ready to present you with 15 German urban myths and legends. Starting off at number 1, we have the Werewolf of Moorbach, also known as the Moorbach Monster. Before we get started, I also want to apologize for any names I am going to butcher because I do not speak German. The story of the Moorbach Monster starts in the town of Wittlich, where a group of soldiers were said to have raided a farmhouse and murdering the family. As they were murdering the father and his sons, the wife placed a curse on one of the soldiers named Thomas and said that every full moon he would become a feral wolf. From that point on, Thomas was cursed and became more violent and aggressive, and eventually decided to go live feral in the woods. Eventually there was talk of a wolfman that lived in the woods and killings began. Nobody suspected Thomas until he tried to rape a local woman. Thomas, or more accurately the monster he had become, was confronted near the town of Moorbach where he was killed, and they buried him to keep him from coming back as a wolf. A shrine with a single candle was placed on his gravesite. Legend has it that so long as that candle is kept burning, the werewolf shall remain in its grave. It is also said that the woman raped by Thomas later gave birth to a son who fortunately did not share his father's curse. Now, the interesting thing about this legend is that it has a somewhat recent update. Back in 1988, the year I was born, a group of Americans working on the US Air Force Base nearby noticed the candle had gone out and made some jokes about the local superstitions and werewolves and all that, but later that night, they spotted the Wolfman at the fence just outside the Air Force Base. The candle was relit and has remained so to this day, with no future sightings of the Wolfman. At number 2 we have the Marksman. In this story, a marksman went out hunting deer and wild boar in the darkness of the autumn forest. There he was approached by a shady salesman who hid his face from the marksman. The man offered the marksman 7 magical bullets, with one caveat. The first 6 bullets will hit whatever the marksman wants them to, but the 7th, well, that will hit whatever the man wants it to. The marksman accepts the bullets, and quickly his hunting prowess becomes known throughout the village, and he catches the eye of the prettiest girl in town. Soon the first 6 bullets are all used up, and the huntsman fires the 7th. In a twist of events that should shock no one, that bullet finds itself directly in the heart of his true love. At this point, the salesman reappears to the marksman and reveals himself to be the devil. The devil tells the marksman that if he lives a good life, he'll be reunited with the girl after death. But things are never really so simple where the devil's involved. So the marksman meets another girl, falls in love, marries her instead, and then 1 year to the day, after shooting his girlfriend in the chest, while out hunting in the woods, the huntsman comes upon a clearing where a bunch of skeletons are dancing around cold flames. Apparently is able to tell, not sure how, that one of those skeletons belongs to the girl he previously was in love with, and he joins the skeletons, dances into the night, and the next morning the villagers find him and his horse dead. I always find these kind of tales funny because, one, the ending has information that nobody could possibly know, especially since the huntsman was found dead, so how would anybody know that he had been, dancing with skeletons? Like, it could have just been, oh, they found him dead in the woods because it's old times and people die. Also, just some random guy who won't show you his face goes, hey, I'm going to give you 7 bullets. The 6 will hit whatever you want, but I get to pick what the 7th hits. It's like, one, that's just a bad... That's a bad deal anyway. And 2, why would you fire the 7th bullet? Like, why wouldn't you just put that bullet in a box somewhere and never fire it? But, even though I believe in the supernatural, it's pretty obvious this one's bullshit. At number 3, we have Lorelai. This one's kind of a double whammy because the origins of the myth are not in any way, shape, or form what the myth is today. Originally, Lorelai was a mix of German and Celtic terms that basically meant murmuring rock. The Lorelei itself is a rock on the right bank of the Rhine River that, due to a waterfall as well as the currents of the Rhine River, made a murmuring sound that then the rock served as kind of a sound echo chamber for. The murmur is apparently still there, but it is much harder to hear due to the sounds of urbanization. One of the original myths regarding the murmuring is that there were caves inside of the rock where dwarves lived. Now, the more commonly known legend is based on the idea that the origin of its name could also translate to lurking rock, based on many ships that wrecked against it over the years. This version of the legend caused a German author to write a ballad where Lorelei is more of a siren-type character, luring ships and men to their deaths against the rock. The folk rock band Blackmore's Night actually does a rendition of this ballad that I quite like. At number 4, we have the White Woman of Eversberger Forest. Eversberger Forest is one of the largest continuous areas of woodland in Germany near the town of Eversberg, and the White Woman of the forest is much like a traditional woman in white spirit that she appears dressed in all white to people driving down the road, and hers is actually the ones I found. It's a little more violent than your typical ghostly hitchhiker story. Apparently, if you either don't pick her up or you just drive over and even say attempt to hit her, she will appear in the back seat of your car and she will murder you. Or drag you into the fog, never to be seen again. It's not really stated what she does if you pick her up in the car, but apparently you will survive if you give her a ride to wherever she wants to go. A little interesting piece of trivia here, back in 2021, the former town archivist of Eversberg actually dressed up in broad daylight as the woman in white, and actually was more or less waving at passing cars and telling them the story of the woman, and apparently this unnerved a lot of people and the police were called. At number 5, we have the Waldner School. The Waldner School was built in 1913 by the Franciscan Order of Monks in order to care for approximately 600 residents who were severely disabled or had severe learning disabilities. When the Nazis came to power, they sought to financially ruin all Catholic organizations in the country, so in doing so, with an avalanche of lawsuits between 1935 and 1937, eventually the Franciscan Order was forced to declare bankruptcy and close the school, at which point the Nazi Party took possession of the building. What was once a place of compassion and kindness became a place for the Nazis to kill disabled children. Here they would be slowly killed over weeks or even months by being gassed with carbon monoxide. Reports of the time show that it was a particularly cruel and painful death. It is said that the spirits of some of these children never left the grounds, and their cries can be heard throughout the empty halls. At number 6, we have Der Grossman. Der Grossman translates to the tall man, and he is said to live in Germany's Black Forest, which, if you do not know, is named more so from how dense the forest is, so it's very dark on the forest floor. Possible inspiration for the Slender Man urban legend, this tall, disfigured being is said to have white orbs only where its eyes should be. He is said to chase naughty children through the forest and even out of the forest all the way back to their homes, and the only way to escape him is to confess what naughty thing you have done. Though sometimes even that will not be enough to save you, and if Der Grossman gets you, you disappear and will not be found again. And at this point in the video, we're going to switch mood a little bit. I wanted us to start with all the creepy legends, and now we're going to get into some that are just either funny or just a little bit absurd, because not all urban legends are about monsters or murder and death. So at number 7, we have the corpse cleaners, and I know what you're thinking. I thought you said we were going into funny ones, but this one is kind of funny, actually. Apparently there is a long circulating legend at German universities that you can get a job as a corpse cleaner for mortuaries, the coroner's office, places like that, and that, here's the kicker, is it pays 150 euros an hour, which for a poor college student is a pretty great sum. However, when the student inevitably goes to look for this position, it is found that there is no such position as a corpse cleaner, and anybody who this is part of their job certainly does not make 150 euro an hour. You know, I remember being a broke college student. If someone told me that there was a slightly unpleasant job of cleaning corpses that paid that much, I certainly would have at the very least considered it, been like, how much do I not want to touch a dead body? It's like, well, we'll pay you 150 euros an hour. Yeah, you know what? I think I might be able to stomach it. Coming in at number 8, we have the Goatman of the Pfalz, which is a mountainous region in Germany. Unlike the American Goatman, this Goatman is more mischievous and less malicious. He is said to steal wine grapes from farms and then occasionally to drunkenly attack travelers on the mountain because he is drunk on wine grapes. So you can just imagine a dark night, you're walking through the mountains, and this drunk goat man just sucker punches you because he's drunk on wine grape. At number 9, we have something called the Stoner Roundabout, and this one's an interesting one. Apparently, this happened in a German movie, but the legend of it predates that. And in this story, a man is high on drugs and drives in reverse into a roundabout and ends up rear-ending a car. So when the police show up, apparently the driver of the other car is drunk, so the cops do not believe his story that this stoner was driving in reverse through the roundabout, and the stoner gets off scot-free while the drunk driver is hauled off to jail. That definitely sounds like a plot point to be in like a late-night teen sex comedy or something. So I live in Ohio, and I live in central Ohio, and in central Ohio there's this town called Dublin, and they decided to build a massive roundabout in this intersection that had been there for forever, and this thing was huge, and they had to redesign it almost immediately after they opened it because it was so big, there were so many lanes, and people in Ohio suck so bad at driving through roundabouts that there was at least one accident in this thing every day, including a very popular radio host in Columbus. His own daughter got into an accident in the roundabout, and so they had to remove a lane from it because roundabouts are so crazy if you don't know how to use them properly. At number 10, we have a really strange one that I call Blame the Dog. So this sounds like one that was passed around the high school yard or whatnot, but it states that a young man and his girlfriend are having anal sex on his parents' bed while his parents are out of the house. They mess the bed, and when the parents get home and find the mess, the young man blames the family dog. So what do? They euthanize the dog, some stories even stating that the father took the dog out back in the yard and shot it with a shotgun. I don't know, this one is pretty darn ridiculous. I feel like, yeah, I might try to pass the buck if I found myself in that situation, but I would certainly fess up and come clean, so to speak, if they were about to kill the dog over it. Coming in at number 11, we have blood Nutella. This one's pretty simple. It's just there's a rumor going around that Nutella features either human blood or pig blood as one of its ingredients, and not much more to say about it, but I already don't like Nutella. I'm certainly not going to eat it now. At number 12, we have another slightly creepy one known as Fußballer, and what this is basically just a generic boogeyman for German parents to scare their kids. Either don't play in the coal cellar, don't go near the body, like the lake, the bodies of water. It's basically just, if you go where you're not supposed to, Fußballer will get you and put you in a bag or eat you or whatever. I didn't put this one with the creepier ones because it's kind of just a generic boogeyman and one of those cautionary tales parents tell their kids, and let's be honest, there's a lot worse cautionary tales to come out of Germany. At number 13, we have one called Your Choice, and this regards the naming of the town Uerdingen, which apparently when the townspeople back in the day asked the Kaiser of the time what they should name their city, he basically said, your choice or your thing, which is pronounced Uerdingen. And he was telling them, whatever you want, I don't care, he's got king stuff to do, but they thought he was being, literal, and so they named their town Uerdingen. I am 100% sure I messed up that pronunciation. I apologize, German people. Number 14 is one I like to call the special sauce. So apparently, not only in every major city in Germany, but just about every major city in Europe, if not the world, there's a story like this. In this particular case, there's like a lamb kebab restaurant, and it's found that they're shut down by the health department because they find human semen in the tzatziki sauce. Rather than being based in fact or any type of incident, this one's just plain and simple racism. The story always goes that some foreign restaurant owner is putting man cream in whatever their local cream sauce is. If it's Italian restaurant, it might be the garlic sauce or the Alfredo. In this case, it's the creamy cucumber-based tzatziki sauce. So, you think you're just getting some sauce made out of cucumber, but it's coming from a man cucumber.
Mine's bigger than that.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, my cucumber.
It's like I've heard a million times, anytime a Chinese restaurant gets closed in America, it's because, oh, they were serving cat. Or if a Mexican place closed down, it's because they weren't clean and everyone who ate there got the shits. Like, it's just pure and simple racism. There's no real basis to this one, but apparently every city in Germany has a story like this. Saving the best for last, at number 15, we have the Bielefeld conspiracy. This one was very interesting to read about because apparently this is known all over the internet in Germany, and it is a conspiracy, more of a satirical conspiracy, that the city of Bielefeld does not exist. The story goes that this town of over 300,000 residents doesn't exist, and that there's some secret organization known as They that is just conspiring with authorities to create the illusion that it exists. There are 3 questions that are always posed with this conspiracy. Do you know anybody from Bielefeld? Have you ever been to Bielefeld? Do you know anybody who has ever been to Bielefeld? And of course, you're expected to say no to all of these things, and if you say yes, well, you're just part of the conspiracy. Apparently, the origin of this entire conspiracy theory was thought up as a joke at a college party by a computer science student, and he thought of it simply because apparently one time he drove past the exit to Bielefeld on the Autobahn, and it was closed. The exit to Bielefeld was closed, and he just started riffing on this idea that's like, hey, what if it doesn't exist? Apparently, Bielefeld is a college town, but there's not much to do there as far as tourism, so that's how this was able to grow and be the joke that, like, no, it's not there, and it's not even a unique conspiracy theory. There is a whole group of people out there that don't believe that Finland or Australia exists, but it's great. Apparently, the town has a very good sense of humor about it. Even the entire country makes the joke all the time that it doesn't exist. According to what I found, the former German Chancellor Angela Merkel referred to going to a town hall meeting in Bielefeld, but added, if it exists at all. I had the impression that I was there. So high up in the government, this joke is still a thing, and I think that's absolutely brilliant. Guys, that's going to be our list for today. Thank you so much for joining me on this inaugural episode of my Urban Legends and Myths videos. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and announce what category of miniature won the contest. If you were unaware of the contest, it is not too late. Only voting round 1 has ended. Voting round 1 was to determine what kind of miniature I will be making. The winning category will have 2 miniatures made, and then voting round 2 will begin. In voting round 2, you will be voting on which of the 2 miniatures is your favorite, and whichever miniature gets the most votes, one of the people that voted for it will be given it absolutely free, while the other will be posted on my eBay and Etsy pages. So without further ado, the winning category for voting round 1 is Undead. Yes, the category Undead won with a single vote. In fact, there was only 1 vote given to the entire contest, so voting round 1 was kind of a bust, but I am a man of my word, so be prepared. 2 miniatures will be created in the Undead category, at which point you will be able to vote on which one you want me to give away and which one will go up for sale. I'm going to open up the second round of voting to multiple platforms, so that will be YouTube, Reddit, Instagram, and hopefully we can get a little bit more traction and people can see the contest. But stay tuned for that. I will announce the second vote once the miniatures are completed. Thank you so much for watching this video, for sticking with me through my little dive through German urban myths and legends, and until next time, this is Chimera Miniatures. I am your host, Mr. Sean. I hope you alpha great day, and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye!